Welcome back, I'm Tedward, and today's a big one because we've got a rare Group B homologation car. This is the 1984 Peugeot 205 Turbo 16. And thanks to Team Champagne Ninjas, the owners, AI Design, who made sure it was in tip-top shape, and Garage 42 for storing and maintaining and always making sure it's ready at a moment's notice, we are going to take this thing out for a drive today. Now, unlike its very common 205 Econo car brother, which has lots of variants, including the very desirable and cool GTI, which would have competed with the likes of the Volkswagen Golf, Rabbit, whatever you want to call it, back in the 80s, this is purely for the sake of racing. The 205 Turbo 16 is a homologation car, which means they had to build at least 200 of these to go racing in WRC Group B rally between 1982 and 1986. And Group B is famous for having very few restrictions, regulations, which is why they had to cancel it. People were dying. These cars were way too powerful, way too potent, and they were crashing off into the crowds. It was a nightmare. Like the coolest racing in the world, but when you have to cancel something because it's that dangerous, especially in the 80s, it's like, okay, we got to rethink the whole game. This would have cost more than a Porsche 911 at the time, and today this is like a $250,000 to $300,000 hatchback. It's not really a hatchback though, because that is no longer storage. It is a clamshell because this is mid-engine. So it's 1.8 liter turbo 4-cylinder, sits right back here, transversely mounted, attached to a 5-speed manual gearbox, powering all 4 wheels. And its all-wheel drive system, I've been told, is pretty trick because the front end can actually kind of ghost one side of the other to sort of torque vector, maybe early torque vectoring, if you will. But that's what makes this car so special, is that it shares nothing with the standard Peugeot 205. It makes 197 horsepower, almost the same amount of torque, somewhere around 185, and it has ground clearance, it has cooling ducts, it has intake. It's so wild when you look at this thing in a field where you could pretty much clear all the rocks because it was designed even for its road-going users to go crazy. There's loads of suspension travel here. Up front, we have a 205 section tire on this beautiful white wheel. 4 lugs. It's a light car. There's not a whole lot of weight to lug around. So when I say 197 horsepower, I mean it's quick. It's got loads of torque. Let's take a look inside because there's just a small driving compartment. There's nothing in the rear because that's glass and firewall to protect you from the powertrain. And then elevated are these gorgeous 2-tone Peugeot seats, which I think are just the best. They feel really nice, they're comfortable, and they hold you in a little bit. They're not too secure. You're not feeling like you're in a Porsche carbon bucket or anything like that. But I tell you, when you're driving it, it means business because look at these pedals. These are straight up rally pedals. Those are race car pedals because this is a race car. It's designed for that. But the other thing that's weird about it is just how kind of incredible it is that you have head clearance. I'm 5'9", and sitting way up on this platform instead of way down on the ground, I still have room. Now, I'd imagine the reason for all of that is to make way for driveline bits for the center diff and to go forward. I'm not totally positive, but if I were to hazard a guess, you definitely know what you're driving because of the Turbo 16 on the steering wheel. And up here, you get a mix of gauges. These are different colors. So the Speedo in kilometers, of course, never sold in the US, and we'll show you the badge in a minute, is a Jaeger gauge. I believe all of the rest of these are Veglias because this is labeled Veglia and they have a different sort of orange on them. So I'm not sure if you're a 205 guy and you have like a regular 205 or 205 GTI. Let me know which looks appropriate to you, which was in your car. Down here you've got some warning lights. We may see this little oil light flicker. The sensor is wonky. And over here we've got fuel, oil temp, oil pressure, and water temp. Oil pressure, I watched this gauge move a little bit, but it is running fine. AI has really gone through this car. Dashboard, a little rattly. Soft or hard plastics, I should say, and that's fine. It's not supposed to be for your comfort. It does have some HVAC controls, but what's wild too, look at this ignition. The key just fits. This is beyond the plastic, so this just fits. And again, I don't know if that's like a normal Peugeot 205 thing or if that's just for the Turbo 16. No power steering. Heavy clutch, and oh so delicious. Hopefully no one's crashing up here. Oh my goodness. a very delicious, snappy 5-speed transmission. You feel everything. The 1-2 in this car is a little bit wonky, so we may be double clutching it. We may be just taking care of that 1-2. So if you don't see me going crazy for that 1-2 or that 3-2, that's why. We're just trying to be nice to it. Let's take a look under the frunk, because this is what's really wild about this car. Every Peugeot 205 is like a front-wheel drive, front-engine thing. Yet, in our 205 Turbo 16, with our big cooling scoop up here, we just get a spare tire and a big old strut bar, horns, brake fluid reservoir. This is fantastic to look at. And there's cooling systems that come up here with the twin fans. All of the suspension on the Turbo 16 is unique to the Turbo 16. So yes, it looks like a normal car. It is anything but. Let's take a look in the back. To get into the back, all right, this is where things get tricky. Oh, we gotta try to utilize that. Okay, now the whole hatch. Oh my goodness, this is insane. This is so heavy. And, ooh, that's hot as heck. Gotta put this in here. Okay, I got you, now you're off. And there is the rear end of this thing. It is all engine and driveline back here. It's just bananas. So if you look at this, first of all, everything looks like it's home built. This like heat shield with the turbo back there, all of this stuff is stock. This is what Peugeot came up with. Look at these crazy multi-link suspension bits back here. And then not in the center, off to the side, you can see the engine. There's the Peugeot valve covers with all the plugs going in the ignition system. It's just bonkers. You can see the transmission down here. The whole driveline is basically exposed. And here's the rear end feeding power to those rears. It's a 55-45 weight distribution, biased toward the rear. Your exhaust comes straight down here, and you can just imagine one of these getting into some mechanical trouble or a little bit of a wreck on a race. They crank open this clamshell and boom, everything is just right here. There's even this panel which comes off and reveals, I believe that's where like the electrical system, the alternator and stuff is back there, but no power steering system to deal with. It's just all business. And just in case, I think this has got to be a regulation thing, you've got brake lights and stuff if this clamshell was up or for whatever reason completely removed. So let's close it up and get on the road, because I cannot wait to show you how this drives and behaves. Listen to those fans and the fuel pump. Everything's so loud. Windows, but very slow. Nothing, nothing, nothing. That's the key. You got to keep it in boost. Once she's in boost, it's a rocket. Everything down here below like 3,500 RPM is just dead, 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 dead. Oh, I can't believe the sounds coming out of this thing. See if we can double clutch gently in a second. There we go. Okay, not the most harmonious downshift, but we got it with no crunch. That's all that matters, baby. Oh my God, I'm in love. Cute horn. Imagine this running down a dirt path in the middle of nowhere and hearing noises. I hate to say it, but when you're just puttering around, it kind of sounds like a Subaru. The steering is heavy, the brakes are heavy, the clutch is heavy. But it revs so high. You've got it in boost, it just screams. This is a great example of a car that you can kind of drive enjoyably at relatively low speeds. It's built for roads like this, and it wants to dance a little bit with you. So you don't have to go fast to have fun, because you're going to put effort into the steering. Oh my God, you really feel like you're in a rally. It sounds super loud, it's absurd, but like we're really not even cooking. This is the scariest part about this car, is that I've got like nothing if someone comes out. The gearing is fantastic. Oh my goodness, I'm completely smitten with this Peugeot. Now, I'm not a smoker, but I do feel like I need to unwind a little bit after this drive. So I'm gonna pull in here to Kimball Farm. I'm gonna get an ice cream. It just seems appropriate. We'll see if we can't find a spot here. Look, nobody's looking. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about this car. It's so wild. This is like the rarest thing they're ever going to see. I think if Group B were around today, something like that Volvo C30 would probably be a contender. They'd do some homologation C30. Pretty good for cruising on the highway. Sound is crazy. Oh my God. Back home to Garage 42. Thank you to Team Champagne Ninjas. Thank you to Garage 42. And thank you to AI Design for making this possible. My goodness, I am quite happy. Don't forget to respect the drive. And I'll see you in the next one. Looking back on Group B, it was before my time, but when I watch rally footage, it's absolutely insane. Crazy horsepower cars, all-wheel drive, turbocharged power plants, just a wild experience. But the reason why Group B, I think, has such a legacy is because of the cars it delivered to the market for actual people to buy and use on the street, including the Porsche 959, which wasn't actually ready until Group B was canceled, the Ferrari 288 GTO, the Audi S1 Quattro, the Lancia Delta Integrale Evo 2. So while the racing may have been too dangerous, the road cars it gave us were high performance, technologically advanced monsters that fortunately are now in the hands of collectors who get to use them. And today we're going to take this 205 Turbo 16 for a drive.